A report claims that Sandro Tonali's preference is to join Arsenal this summer, but that the Italian midfielder is not opposed to joining up with Roberto De Zerbi at Spurs, while another report claims that Spurs could offer 3 players in a swap deal with Newcastle for Tonali. Aston Villa have made an approach to Tottenham Hotspur over a potential deal for promising midfielder Lucas Bergvall, but Spurs are determined to retain the Swedish youngster as a key part of their future plans. Tottenham Hotspur are weighing up a shock move for Marcus Rashford as Roberto De Zerbi seeks to inject additional top-flight experience and attacking quality into his squad ahead of the new season. And Spurs captain Christian Romero comes off injured for Argentina in their latest World Cup group game with the same issue to his knee that kept him out of Spurs running. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already as yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And please make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live or upload a video to the channel. Okay, let's get into it. The Metro claim that Tottenham Hotspur's hopes of landing Sandro Tonali could be complicated by the midfielder's apparent preference for a move to Arsenal, according to reports emerging on Monday. The Newcastle United star has become one of Spurs' top transfer targets this summer, with head coach Roberto De Zerbi pushing hard to bring his fellow Italian to North London. Tottenham have already seen an opening bid of around £75 million rejected by Newcastle, with the Magpies understood to be holding out for a fee in excess of £100 million. However, fresh reports suggest that if Arsenal formalise their interest, Tonali would favour a switch to the Emirates Stadium over Tottenham. While the 26-year-old is said to be open to working under De Zerbi, Arsenal are reportedly his preferred destination should both clubs pursue a deal. This situation has alerted several Premier League heavyweights, with Arsenal and Man City both monitoring developments as Tottenham prepare an improved offer following their rejection of their initial bid. Former Newcastle striker Alan Shearer has questioned why Tonali would leave St James's Park for Spurs, citing Tottenham's recent struggles in the Premier League despite the attraction of London and De Zerbi's arrival. Meanwhile, former Aston Villa forward Gabriel Agbonlahor also expressed surprise at suggestions linking the Italian with a move to Tottenham. Despite the reported preference, Tottenham remain firmly in the race and are expected to continue negotiations as they seek to make Tonali the centrepiece of De Zerbi's midfield rebuild. Newcastle, though, remain under little pressure to sell, with the Italy international contracted until 2029 and valued at more than £100 million. However, the Mirror and Football.London claim that Spurs could potentially offer player swap options in the Tonali deal, with Vicario, Bergvall and Richarlison all heading to St James's Park. Should Newcastle opt to overhaul their forward line once more, Richarlison could be a shrewd squad addition. The 29-year-old would back his chances of becoming the main striker at Newcastle, while simultaneously offering William Osula a clear route to establishing himself as first choice number 9 following his prolific run of form towards the end of the season. Give Me Sport report that Aston Villa have reportedly opened discussions with Tottenham over a surprise move for highly rated midfielder Lucas Bergvall, although Spurs remain determined to keep hold of one of their brightest young talents. According to reports, Villa are exploring the possibility of signing the 20-year-old Sweden international as they look to strengthen their midfield options ahead of the new season. Bergvall impressed during his debut campaign in North London after arriving from Swedish side Djurgårdens and quickly established himself as Tottenham's most promising prospects. Despite Villa's interest, the report states that Tottenham have no intention of selling the midfielder and view him as a key part of Roberto De Zerbi's long-term plans. Club officials are said to regard Bergvall as a future cornerstone of the squad and are not actively entertaining offers. Villa's inquiry is believed to have been met with resistance, with Spurs making it clear that the player is not available for transfer. However, the Midlands club are continuing to monitor the situation as they assess potential midfield targets this summer. Bergvall's rapid development has attracted admiration from several clubs across Europe, but Tottenham remain confident the youngster is committed to his future in North London. The report adds that De Zerbi is eager to continue to work with the Swedish star as part of a wider squad rebuild ahead of the 2026-27 campaign. As things stand, Villa's interest has not progressed beyond initial talks, with Tottenham firmly positioned to fend off any approach for one of the club's most highly regarded young players. The iPaper claimed that Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly considering a surprise move for Marcus Rashford, as Roberto De Zerbi looks to add proven Premier League quality to his squad this summer. According to reports, Spurs have identified the Manchester United forward as a potential attacking reinforcement, but are unwilling to trigger the £40 million release clause in his contract. Instead, Tottenham are said to be exploring the possibility of negotiating a lower fee with United. Rashford's future remains uncertain following a productive loan spell at FC Barcelona, where he scored 14 goals and provided 14 assists as the Catalan side won the La Liga title. Barcelona opted against making the move permanent for Rashford, leaving the England international set to return to Old Trafford this summer. The report claims Tottenham's interest is genuine, with De Zerbi keen to reshape his squad after already strengthening several areas of the team. However, any deal appears complicated by Rashford's own preferences. The 28-year-old is understood to favour a move abroad, with a return to Barcelona remaining his ideal outcome, while a switch to Bayern Munich is also said to appeal. Manchester United are believed to prefer a permanent sale rather than another loan arrangement, as they seek to generate funds for their own rebuild. Rashford's substantial wages could also prove a significant obstacle for any interested club. Despite those hurdles, Tottenham are continuing to monitor the situation as they weigh up whether a move for Rashford could become one of the marquee deals of the summer transfer window. And Christian Romero has re-injured his knee while playing at the World Cup. The Argentina international suffered a knee injury in April, of course, forcing him to miss the rest of the season for Spurs. Romero worked hard to make himself available for the World Cup and has started in Argentina's 2 matches so far. This latest re-injury was against Austria on Monday, and Nicolas Otamendi had to replace the centre-back in the 57th minute. Infobay state that Christian Romero had pain on the same knee that troubled him in April, leading to concerns in the national team. This was the result of a clash with Austria's Marcel Sabitzer at the start of the second half. Romero, who was in pain, initially wanted to continue before the medical staff decided not to take any risks. Argentina manager Lionel Scaloni addressed the Tottenham Hotspur defender's injury after the match. He remains hopeful the 28-year-old's blow isn't serious and that there will be clarity after he undergoes tests. We don't know the extent of his problem. Is something he's been dealing with. Let's hope it's nothing serious. It's always better to have everyone available. He'll have a check-up tomorrow or the day after, he said. The Spurs captain has revealed he has been struggling with a ligament problem, but he's optimistic he'll return soon. It's my knee again. It's the medial collateral ligament that's bothering me quite a bit, but nothing I'm going to play, Romero explained. I had already spoken with the doctor, but nothing. I'll be back in a couple of days to help the team, and that's all. The last group stage fixture will be against Jordan on June the 28th. Tottenham Hotspur's Christian Romero will be hopeful he's fit for this clash. Okay, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Firstly, the Tonali situation. I think this one's going to rumble on a bit. This report that states that Tonali is said to prefer a move to Arsenal over Tottenham. I've kind of got Ezra vibes going on here. Look, if Tottenham really want the player, and it seems like they really, really do, they need to move quickly and they just need to pay the money. I think Newcastle would, everybody's for sale. Everybody's for sale at the right price. I suppose there has got to be an upper limit, but if we go in and offer the money, if we really want the player, if Roberto De Zerbi really wants the player, then you're just going to have to pay the money. I've said it time and time again, it's the value of the selling club, the value of the player to the selling club that determines transfer fees, isn't it? So obviously Newcastle rate Tonali very highly, and they're going to want top dollar for him. It's a bit of a worry that the player said he'd. Of course, this could just be media talk. Player would prefer a move to Arsenal, but he comes from the same area of Italy as Roberto De Zerbi, and there is definitely a connection there. So let's hope that Spurs can get this deal done, because Tonali would really help to shape our midfield for next season. Spoke yesterday about possible outgoings in that area should Tonali come in, but you just get the feeling that this is not going to be a quick deal unless somehow Spurs just go in with top dollar, and it's an offer that is too big for Newcastle to refuse. So let's see what happens with that one, but hopefully we can get that one over the line and pursue a striker, hopefully, which I'll come on to in a minute. Bergvall to Villa. Now, you hear conflicting reports. Bergvall wants out of Tottenham. This report states that clearly that Tottenham don't want to sell Bergvall, so something's got to give there. I would imagine if somebody comes in again with a decent enough offer for Bergvall, we've heard figures touted around. I've heard 50 million for Bergvall. So I think if somebody offers that or near that, then Spurs might reconsider and look to sell Bergvall. You're selling one of your best youngsters to essentially what we hope is a Premier League rival. They certainly weren't last year because of where we finished, but you know what I mean. So do you sell players to your rivals? A lot of bigger clubs don't, do they? But if Bergvall isn't in De Zerbi's plans, even though this report says Spurs don't want to sell him, I mean, we just don't know really, do we? But we're going to have a glut of midfielders if we can get Tonali in and any other midfielders that we've been linked with, then there's got to be some movement in that area. So, and Bergvall could be the one to leave. You would think Sarr as well, perhaps it's time for him to move on as well. But I'll be gutted to see Bergvall go. I really would, because I think he's a really excellent young player with loads of potential to continue to improve. But again, let's see what happens with that one. Villa not made any real concrete inquiries on that, and Bergvall could end up going abroad anyway. This one really excites me actually. Spurs want Rashford. We've been touted with going for Rashford for many a season. The players never really seemed that interested in coming to Tottenham, but this would be a real statement of intent if we can bid for Rashford and get Rashford, because he could double as a centre forward. Obviously, he played as centre forward for Manchester United for a number of seasons, but can also play on the wing. I think he's the best left wing option that we've been linked with, to be fair. I'd love to see Rashford in a Spurs shirt, Premier League proven. Perfect age, still reasonably young, but loads of experience there. He's quick, he's strong, he can score goals, and he would be perfect for Roberto De Zerbi. I think that's the main thing. And De Zerbi, again, if you believe these media reports, that De Zerbi is keen on us going for Marcus Rashford. So let's hope that this is true and we can bid for him. I think this is a bit more of an outside chance getting Rashford, to be honest with you, but whenever I see us linked with Marcus Rashford, yes, people say he's got some attitude issues. Look, a lot of players have attitude issues, but, it's the player coming in, and I think he would be phenomenal for De Zerbi and Spurs. But again, let's see how that one pans out. And finally, the Romero injury. Obviously, he's still Spurs captain at the moment. We don't know what's going to be going on with Christian Romero. So I hope for him he can stay fit and play in the World Cup. That was his dream. But really, it's funny, not that many people seem that bothered about the Romero injury, where before there'd be a lot of fans worried on social media talking about it. I think Romero's possibly peed off a lot of fans over the last few weeks and months. Is he captain material for Spurs? I personally would rather see somebody like Mickey van der Ven or James Maddison given the captaincy. It looks like Romero's going to be off anyway. But yeah, a small injury, they think, to Christian Romero. I'm sure you've read about it yourself, but let's see how that one goes and if Romero plays any further part in the World Cup, because if he's tweaked that MCL again, you'd think his World Cup will be over. That's all from me today. Get down in the comments, let me know how you're feeling as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now. And as always, come on you Spurs.